Welcome to Tuesday and to the Day of Trinity. This is Trinity of I webinars. My name is Cherie Hudson, and I want to share with you information about leadership. I have been studying leadership for many years, and I have rolled out not only trainings and educations, coaching, many aspects of leadership throughout many different states. And I thought to myself, this got to get out to more people. And so I am doing these little webinars to get out information about transformational leadership. And when I say transformational leadership, it is equivalent to spiritual leadership because it is coming from the heart. And what I've noticed is on my journey of understanding and researching leadership, the first thing is that, they say, are leaders born or created? They're both. We're all born with a capacity of leadership. What do we do with those leadership qualities? And where can we take it to a whole nother level as we keep honing in and developing those qualities? Well, there are three that came across and bubbled up through my tenure of doing leadership development and organizational psychology. I call them the Trinity of I's, and one of the I's is inspiration. I will be covering integrity as well as influence in other Tuesday Trinity days, but for today, we're going to focus on the one that is foundational to humankind, and that is inspiration. So what makes an inspirational leader? As I went on my journey of studying and researching, there are actually three qualities that kept bubbling up. I'll talk about that in just a moment. The first thing that I want to say, though, is that what is the definition of inspiration? Let's go back to the origins. What's interesting is that the original definition of inspiration is to breathe. Wow. Inspire, to breathe in, expire, to breathe out. Found that fascinating. In the mid-16th century, the definition changed to draws air into the lungs. Wait a minute. Just because I breathe, I inspire? I would say yes. When we take our first breath coming into this world, that is a pinnacle moment. It is a magical moment of who we are as spiritual beings coming into a physical form. Very powerful. But let's take it out of that context and let's take a look at inspirational leadership and what are those three areas that kept bubbling up for me that I want to share with you today. An inspirational leader takes a look at adversity and failure as a blessing. They do. There's no judgment on it, no labels. They just say, here's the adversity and failure. What is the lesson? What is the teachable moment so that I can study and examine what transpired in order to prevent this going forward or to might have to learn it at another level? You look at Thomas Edison. How many times did he have to go through his process in order to finally get to us having light? It took over 1,000 tries, right? And so that's what an inspirational leader does. They don't quantify their adversity or failure by good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just an event. It is a very neutral situation, and the way they approach it is with a little bit of anticipation because they're going to learn something from this situation. What is it? And they spend time in this self-study to understand this adversity and this failure and to get through to the other side. That's powerful. The second quality or behavior that kept bubbling up was that they focus on the possibilities. We as human beings have a finite ability. When we tap into the core of who we are as spiritual beings, it becomes an infinite possibilities that we could take a look at moving forward in many dimensions or areas of our lives. I remember that my daughter had a math problem, and she had come up with the correct answer. Well, she took that to her professor, and the professor said, "Oh, you could not have gotten that answer by doing this problem in that way." And after the professor sat there and figured it out, my daughter was correct. As a matter of fact, there's so many possibilities that we may not even know. However, when we give the opportunity to explore it and delve into it, we see that what is true in the universe is that there is infinite possibilities. I'll even share with you a story about myself. At one point, I was living in a room, recently divorced. I kept going into meditation saying, I need to move out. I need to get into a place of my own. And I was given the answer, and here I am now today in a beautiful townhome in a great location with a great neighborhood. Infinite possibilities are always there when we go inward and really take that inward journey from our head to our heart. The other inspirational leadership behavior is feeling the leader. We feel each other. Sometimes we don't even need to say anything to the other person, but they can pick up what we're putting out. For example, have you ever walked into a room and you looked around and there was one particular person, when you looked over at them, the hair on the back of your neck stood up? Why? You didn't say a word to them. You absolutely felt who they were from their energy. An inspirational leader does take a look at their energetic self, because people feel each other. When we truly come from our hearts, we are vulnerable, we are open, and we express ourselves in a way that it is transparent. We're also going to be talking about this with integrity as well as influence. It's a very, very powerful behavior. So, the three behaviors when we look at inspirational leadership: every adversity and failure is a lesson, it is a blessing, it is a teachable moment. Focus on the possibilities. Go on an inward journey. Get in touch with that self inside of you and take a look at what is infinite and what are the possibilities for anything that comes up in your life. The third, let people feel who you are. You're a magnificent being. And here's what's true. If inspiration is defined as to breathe in, you've already been inspirational. You are the one out of trillions that attempted to be born. You made it. You took your first breath from the spirit world into the physical form. You are inspirational. Go out and inspire. I'll see you the next Tuesday, and we'll talk about integrity on the Trinity of I.